Hello and welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things related to research from the Global South. This is the research platform. My name is Angelo Dube and I'm welcoming you again to another exciting episode where we will be discussing the issue of researching outside the academic norm, outside what you would call academic research or academic work, otherwise known as creative writing in some quarters. I'll be talking today to an author, a published author who has published so many works. He'll be taking us through his journey, to what's becoming an author and what types of works he has done so far. Mr. Dlamini, welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
You mind telling the viewer a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am a conscious success coach. I am an author. I've written 3 books. The first book is Destiny is Achievable. The second book, The Journey of Being. And my final publication is Destiny Consciousness. So I support people on how they can experience or realize success in their lives. So basically, I'm a success coach.
It's good to see that you're a success coach and you have been successful in, achieving this particular goal right here. Because you can find someone saying, I'm a life coach, but you look at what have they achieved themselves. What can they coach you in if they can't produce the products they've worked on successfully.
Sure.
But I'm happy to see that I have them in my hands right there, written by you, all 3 of them. I remember this particular one, but we'll talk about it later. I remember 2019 was it when I last saw you?
Yes, 2019.
And it was still in progress. And today it's right here, full body right there. A very, very thick book. Yeah. All right, so this channel is dedicated to research on the African continent, particularly from a global south. While we mostly talk on research in the academic sector, but we acknowledge that research is broader than that. What are your opinions on research on the continent right now, and where does Africa need to go, and how does it get there?
Research in the continent is not something that is very wide. I always talk about consciousness expansion. When I talk about consciousness expansion, it's about you expanding your awareness, you expanding the level of your awareness. So when you look at what is currently happening in Africa, especially, the level of the investment that is made towards consciousness expansion is not so much. So a lot of people, they do not really appreciate that aspect of things. And what I say, in order for us to have new experiences in life, our consciousness must expand, our awareness must expand, and consciousness cannot expand without investing in that process of consciousness expansion, which is about research, which is about getting more information so that people then have that shift in consciousness that allows them to have different results. So to me, that is critical, because for us to have different results, our consciousness must expand, and for consciousness to expand, research must be done.
It's interesting because you're saying these things on a platform that looks at research from a global south. The reason we emphasize the global south is that for so long things were said about us, things were written about us without us being involved.
Very true.
To the extent that we need a mental transformation, a change of consciousness for us to actually get there, to start saying things about us and to start rejecting what was said about us.
Very true.
So it's interesting that your research is not just producing information, but it's centered on changing the psyche of the human being. Very, very, very interesting.
What I normally talk about? I talk about us. You are mentioning that a lot of us, we've experienced a lot of conditioning, a lot of programming, and most of the things that we claim ownership of, and the things that the identity that we have about ourselves is the identity that comes from our conditioning. And I'm saying to people, now we need to get to a point where we truly face everything in our lives and avoid nothing. We get to a point where we even question our current identity. You've just said that a lot of things have been said about us, as stories have been told about us, and we're not part of those narratives. So I'm saying to people, let us get to a point where we face everything in life and avoid nothing. And part of facing everything is also questioning our identity. Who are we, and why do we say we are the people that we are? Because the story that has been told about us, what we believe about ourselves, is not who we really are.
No.
And that impacts on our potential, that
Yes.
impacts on our abilities, that impacts on our creativity, because now that which we are doing is not that which we are capable of doing, but it's that which we have been told. Let me make an example. As black people, we've
Yeah.
been told that black people can only go this far and not beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But can we really go that far? Can't we go beyond?
Yeah.
I believe that we can go beyond by changing the narrative,
The
by
condition.
changing. So my books are about that, getting us to face everything and avoid nothing, and also to question those things that we have been afraid to question before about ourselves, about our background, so that now we can confidently move forward towards becoming forces of creation, where we create our lives from awareness, where we create our lives from we become conscious drivers of our progress, of our success, of everything that pertains to our lives and destiny.
This is interesting. What I pick up from what you've said is that whoever defines you confines you.
Very true.
We were defined. We ran with that definition and it just confined us.
And it's still confining us even today, because everything that we are doing even today, even in all the spheres of our lives,
Yeah.
we are not allowing ourselves to be creative, but we are following what other people have said so many years ago. We are still following the same curriculum even today that was designed so many years ago. How about if we can get to a space where we truly now take ownership, coming, with the information that we have received from the past, but now we charter a different course for ourselves, and we allow ourselves to get to that space of creativity, and where we really break all the limits and boundaries.
Yeah. This is very, very good. I research mostly in the academic sector, which means I need to rely on so much literature review before I can produce anything. A few years ago I started writing creatively as well, but that project has stalled. I think my book is 75% done, but it has been 75% done for the past two to 3 years. So it's not an easy space. I think for me the challenge was the transition from writing for academic purposes to creative writing. And you're in consciousness writing, which is also different from academic writing. How have you found that? What triggered you to start? Let me begin from there. And what were the highlights, what were the lows in your journey to becoming a published author?
I think the basic thing that I can say, I always talk about you honoring the voice of your essence, you honoring that your essence, because your essence will always tell you what it is that you want to do and how you want to do it. Maybe you may not have the how and the details, but when you honor your essence, when you get to a point where you say to yourself, this is what I feel within myself and I need to explore. I always talk about exploring yourself, exploring your potential. So for me, I've always been interested in the personal development space and how I can express myself in that space. And one ways in which I thought one vehicle that I saw that would take me somewhere in as far as me creating and delivering value was producing material such as this, or publishing books, other than the other things that I've done. So for me, it's always been about honoring the voice of my essence. My background is in social sciences, and I majored in public administration and political science. So there was lots and lots of research that I used to do in that space. But when it comes to this, it's all about honoring the voice of your essence, because now that which you are going to find, that which you are passionate about, is that which you'll easily do, and you'll want to grow and expand in that area. And that is how I got to be in that space. I love personal development, and one way in which I can express myself in that space is through producing publications. Other than the public speaking. It's developing such material.
Okay, so if I hear you well, it's a form of expression.
It is a form of expression.
You bring out what is deep within you, because each and every one of us has something deep-seated in them.
Very true.
That
Very
they need
true.
to express.
They need
For
to,
you,
they
it's
need
in the
to
form
express.
of publication.
Yes.
On the one side, and secondly, in the form of public speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's you're a busy man, I must say. But central to all this is your desire and your dedication to self-expression.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Redefining yourself. Okay. So what were the highs and lows of this journey? I'm sure you didn't just wake up one day and boom, you have these two things done, and then you followed with the third one. You know.
The lows. Let me start with the lows. The lows is producing such material is not an easy journey. More so because of our context, the context in which we are in Africa, or maybe.
Yes.
It's not an easy journey. You encounter a lot of challenges in terms of financing, in terms of creating the interest from different people, stakeholders, people that will be interested in what you're doing. So those were the lows. How do you pass that? How do you generate an interest amongst the people that you serve, for them to consume your material? But the highs is really, once you produce this material, it's amazing the opportunities that it opens up for you, because now that which was an impediment before, now you're able to break it, because now this material says, I mean, today we're having this conversation because of this material. So now it tends to open more doors for you to share your message, other than just people reading it. Now you become an authority, which is something that is amazing. You go to different places and you express yourself more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Now, the three of them, I'm sure each one has a story. It has a story to tell, but it is best told through the creator of these works. You want to share with us, what comes up when you look at each one of these books?
Destiny is Achievable, which is this book.
Yeah.
Is all about speaking to people on how they can really, it's an inspirational material that tells people that whatever it is that you want, it is possible. Destiny is achievable. You can get to a place where you really realize your dreams, you really realize that which you have always wanted to do. You can get to a place where you really achieve according to your essence. So this is what this book is all about.
Okay.
Destiny, the journey of being is an interesting book, because that is, I started writing this book after I embarked on my journey of consciousness. The journey of being is all about you getting into a point where you move from one position to the next position. And how do you do that? Taking yourself into those spaces, because a lot of us we live our lives in autopilot, on autopilot. We are just doing things that we've been told. We are just doing things that other people have told us. But the journey of being is all about you now getting into that space where you move from one position to the next position. The journey of being, the journey of self. How do you get yourself to honor yourself, and how do you get yourself to move to a position that will enable you to experience life different, coming from consciousness. And destiny consciousness is all about you getting into that space where you face everything in your life and avoid nothing, and you realizing your conditioning and the power that it has over your life, and now getting to that space where you can now move from that conditioned state into a state where you are aware, and you live your life from consciousness, from awareness, and you become an active creator in your life, not an active participant, not an observer, or not being in that state where you are on autopilot.
Yeah, it's that's a mouthful. Basically, what the golden thread I see from this is edging the individual and perhaps enlightening the individual on how to shift from living a mechanical life.
Yes.
Where it's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, again and again and again and again and again. By delving deeper into themselves and seeing what it is that they want, and then dealing with whatever obstacles and impediments are in the way to actually realize the inner person. And this one takes you into reconnecting with yourself.
Yes.
Redefining yourself and removing the barriers that were placed when we were redefined. This thick one, which I have a copy of, I'm yet to read it. It's a lovely, lovely book. Goes even deeper than that.
Yes.
Destiny consciousness. This is a total mind shift, a mental paradigm shift, changes everything altogether. Whoa, okay. So if one wanted these books, where would that person get them? Are they available online? Is there a place where they can follow you, social media, and get in touch with you on how to get the books?
This Destiny Consciousness is available at Amazon, so you can get that one from Amazon. But where you can truly find me on social media, Facebook is MPD Revolution. That's my handle.
We will put those handles down on the
and
description of the
Mduduzi
video.
Dlamini, that's another one. You can also find me there. You can also find me on Instagram. Same handles. You can find me on LinkedIn also.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm available there, and I really love to engage with your viewers. So maybe if they have questions or if they really also need the material, they can contact me and we can have that kind of a conversation.
Fantastic. Right, time flies when you're having fun. We are at the end of this episode. Can you believe it? But I think we benefited a lot. We had a lot from a published author who's taken us through his journey. Because I'm sure before you wrote this for someone else to read, that destiny is achievable. You first had to achieve your own destiny.
Very true.
And this is your experience.
Very true.
And then the journey of being, you also had to embark on your own journey of being before you could produce this particular work. And then destiny consciousness, which is, I think, what every other approach to research on the global south should be grounded on this.
Very true.
Because unless people are conscious of their Africanness, they're conscious of their personhood, of who they are, they will always be trying to research to please the master. They will always be trying to use the tools of the master to build a new house. It's like taking the bricks and the tools from the old colonial building after you've dismantled it and thinking you're going to use those bricks and the tools that were used there to build a new building that is centered on consciousness. It can't work. You need new tools, you need new approaches.
Now you're just opening another thing.
And
you also need to be aware, we need to be aware of our conditioning.
Yes.
We need to be aware that we were conditioned.
And admit it.
We were conditioned to be who we are today. And if we cannot see that, then anything else that we do is just a repetition of the past. So we need to see that we were conditioned, and the thoughts that we are thinking right now, our views about life are not truly reflected of ours, is the conditioning that we have experienced in our life. So now we cannot maximize our potential because now our potential is determined by our conditioning,
which was handed down to us.
It's
foisted upon us. Wow, interesting indeed. Thank you for coming through to the program. I hope viewers will engage with you. This is very, very good stuff. It will help a lot of people in changing their mindsets, in beginning to develop, their own destiny consciousness. Because for them to reach their destiny, their consciousness must change.
Yes,
it's clear, everywhere. Yes. That is very, very clear. Transformation of the mind. Because we talk transformation, we talk decolonization every day, but the major component of transformation is a mental transformation. So, thank you so much for pulling through.
Thank you for having me. We've had a good conversation.
Yeah. All right, guys, until next time, do follow us on social media. We have the social media handles down there. If you want to engage with him, you'll find them in the description below. And do not forget to subscribe if you haven't done so, and to share this channel in your networks, whatever networks you operate in on the social media platforms. Copy this link, paste it there, direct people to the platform. We value your feedback. Get in touch with us. We value positive feedback, we value critical feedback, because it helps us grow. Until next time, keep doing your bit for research from the global south so that Africa can rise and Africa can be great again. My boy, Africa. Cheers.